In this video, we continue our A to Z exploration of literary devices and poetry prompts together with the letters D, E, and F. So let's get started. D is for dactyl, as in pterodactyl, and the internet leads me to believe that this flying dinosaur takes the dactyl part of its name from the fact that its enormous wings were attached to its body by a small finger, and the finger has 3 bones in it. This is a very convoluted way of telling you that in terms of poetry and language, a dactyl is a 3-unit thing. So 1 strong syllable followed by 2 weak ones. A word like poetry is a good example of that, and we could make a whole sentence of dactyls. Poetry thrives in the soul of the artisan. It's a very lofty sentence. Or basketball lives in the mind of the psychopath. Of course, I don't mean that. I'm jealous naturally. I'm 5'11". I can't quite reach the... Anyway, so here we've got 2 examples of lines of poetry that are following this rule of dactylic tetrameter or tetrameter. There are 4 beats per line. Now, on the subject of dinosaurs, you might ask yourself, well, why, as a free verse poet, would I want to start exploring these old ways of doing things? And the answer is you're not. What you're actually exploring is something very contemporary. If you go to any slam poetry or spoken word event, you will hear that rhythm is at the heart of poetry. This is just another way of sharpening some tools in your toolbox that you can bring into your free verse writing. So here's your prompt. You're going to write a poem, a minimum of 4 lines. Each line is going to contain 4 lines of dactylic tetrameter. This is certainly, poetry is full of jargon, and it's just really a point of reference. This is not something you could ever use in a sort of, everyday conversation. Martin, would you like a cup of tea? I'd love a cup of tea. And how about a slice of that delicious dactylic tetrameter? So here's your poetry prompt. You're going to write a poem that is a minimum of 4 lines long, and each line is made up of dactylic tetrameter on the subject of, well, that kind of rhythmic element, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, puts me in mind of a journey on horseback. So the word galloping is another dactyl. So your subject will be a journey by horseback or train, a minimum of 4 lines, and you can take as long as you want. You could also maybe write a poem about basketball in using dactylic tetrameter. And that's my poetry slam dunk this morning. The letter E is for enjambment. And enjambment, well, we've already seen an example of enjambment when we looked at the exercise on consonants. We used the blank verse exercise, and I gave you this example. You can see that the first line does not end with a full stop or period, but the meaning of the sentence continues onto line 2, and that is exactly what enjambment is. So here's your prompt. You're going to write 5 couplets of blank verse, but rather than ending the first line with a period or comma, you're going to carry the sense over into line 2. F could be for figurative language, but it could also be for formal verse or free verse. But those 2 things are absolute titans in the poetry world. This isn't a simple case of taking a literary device and a poetry prompt together. We're talking about an entire way of existing within poetry. That's not to say we won't tackle them. It's just to say that when it comes to free verse, it's definitely going to need its own video. So please do click on the link to continue watching. Thank you for being here and for your support. Click the like button and also subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, but it really helps the channel to grow, and I'll see you soon.